help by the butchering.
Hello, my name is Huang Chan Yu, and I'm with Chicago's Hana Center and with you all because we're fighting for a pathway to citizenship and nothing less. That means we're fighting for citizenship through registry by disregarding the parliamentarian, not for some whack temporary status like parole. I was born in South Korea and moved to the United States when I was 6 years old. There was a moment when the feeling of what it means to be undocumented sunk in. My grandfather from my mother's side passed away when I was in high school, and my family was completely shaken up. When we came to the United States, my mother and I did not have citizenship. When my grandfather passed away, my mother was lost in her thoughts and blamed herself for not being able to see her father's funeral when it was this country's arbitrary, inhumane immigration system that stopped her. As she was experiencing all of this, she forced herself to go to work because we had no access for support. As I grew up seeing all of this, I learned to fear that I might find myself in the same situation as my mother, worrying about what would happen if my father, who lives in Korea, were to pass away while I did not have status. What it means to have citizenship is more than just protection, and it is a step closer to feeling human, to be able to grieve, to be in the company of loved ones, to move about freely. I know that my family's experience is a common one in our undocumented community, and it's one of the reasons why we're here to fight for citizenship and not for a temporary status. Our lives don't work off of a timer, and what do members of Congress expect us to do when the status becomes ineffective? Self-deport ourselves? There's members of Congress who have the audacity to call themselves champions of immigrants while pushing for a little cut of humanity. There's members of Congress who talk about the political process as if the political process in general is democratic in the first place when we have things like filibustering and corporate lobbying. So what is the political process? Why is it so worth keeping and fighting for? In this rare moment, we can use the process to take a step forward for the needs of people. We need our whole humanity, we need our full lives, and that means fighting for citizenship through registry, and that means disregarding the parliamentarian. Immigrants are essential, and we make this country to exist in the first place. We ain't here for parole, and we aren't compromising our lives, and that's the bottom line. Can we please have Representative Chuy Garcia come up, please?
Thank you, Juan Cheng, and to everyone who has assembled here today to make our last plea to the U.S. Senate to do the right thing. Yeah. Two weeks ago, the House sent over the Build Back Better bill with some relief for some immigrants. This is not what we have been fighting for over 3 decades across this country. The cry has been for immigration reform for as many people as possible, and today we have 11 million people on our minds and in our hearts as we assemble here. Let us recall that what's in the bill right now was the most that we could get out of the House, in part because there were many more conservative Democrats who were afraid, for good reason, that if we passed a pathway to citizenship, that the Senate would do what it's done twice when we passed immigration reform out of the House, the Dream and Promise Act and the Farm Labor Modernization Act. That's what they were concerned about. If the Senate disregards the decision of an advisor, the parliamentarian, it can substitute immigration reform with a pathway to citizenship. And that is what 90 members of Congress 2 weeks ago sent a letter to Leader Schumer and the Senate to remind them that if they can strengthen the bill in the Senate with a pathway to citizenship, that many of the 90 who signed that letter were moderate or more conservative Democrats. In other words, if the Senate can do the right thing, we believe that we will stand with them in the House and pass immigration reform with a path forward. So that is why we are here today. I'm glad to join my colleagues here, and most importantly, I'm glad to join people like Juan Cheng and everyone else fighting for immigration reform. Thank you for being here. Muy buenas tardes a toda la gente que nos acompaña hoy en nuestra última petición al Senado para decirle que pueden fortalecer el proyecto de reconstruir mejor, incluyendo una vía hacia la ciudadanía para asegurar que haya reforma migratoria con justicia a través de una vía para la ciudadanía. Es lo que nuestros movimientos por más de 3 décadas han exigido. Es lo correcto, es la justicia, y por eso ahora le pedimos al líder Schumer y al Senado que haga lo correcto, que haya justicia para los inmigrantes. Gracias.
That's right. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. In order for us to continue with the program, I would like to introduce the next speaker. It is now my pleasure to introduce a former and undocumented immigrant who's now representing New York and Washington, D.C. Please help me welcome Representative Adriana Espaillat.
Thank you all for being here. We are here because of your work. We are here because of your sacrifice. We are here because of your tireless efforts to make sure that after 35 long years, we put immigration reform in the forefront of the agenda. For far too long, we have been loyal soldiers of our party. When they called us on the environment, we were here. When they called us on the rights of women, we were here. When they called us for criminal justice reform, we were diligently here. When the economy was going back and they called us to sacrifice, we stood up tight and we were here. And for 35 long years, we've been ignored on immigration reform. So we are here today at a critical junction in American history to tell the U.S. Senate that immigration reform finally, after 35 long years, must be passed. And that it must include a pathway to citizenship. We cannot parcel away the rights of people. We cannot tell a mom, you can stay, but your child stays behind. We cannot tell a TPS recipient, you can stay, but the farm worker stays behind. We cannot tell a dreamer, you can stay, but the men that are working in the fields to bring food to our tables have to stay behind. All of us must stay, and we must have a path to citizenship. And so, the parliamentarian is an unelected advisor of the Senate. She could be reversed. We must make sure that the Senate hears us loud and clear, that if her ruling is adversarial to us, that we must move forward and challenge her ruling and make sure we take this vote on the floor. Let the votes fall where they may. History will take note of it. Let them fall where they may, but all of you who during the pandemic delivered the food to our doorsteps, picked the crops in our field, took care of our frail and elderly parents, made sure you drove us around to where we needed to go. Those of you that worked as cashiers in the supermarkets, exposing yourself to the virus. Those of you that were out there when it really counted for America and our family, you deserve to have citizenship now. You deserve it now. Estamos aquí en un momento crítico de nuestra historia. Después de 35 largos años de espera, finalmente esperamos que el debate se dé en el Senado y que le ofrezca a cada uno de ustedes, a sus padres, a sus abuelos, a sus vecinos, a sus familiares, le ofrezcan el derecho a tener la tranquilidad de poder vivir sin el temor de que van a ser arrestados, deportados, lejos de sus familias. Ustedes merecen el sueño americano, ustedes merecen un camino hacia la ciudadanía. Y la parlamentaria es una oficial, la parlamentaria es una oficial no electa del Senado, que podemos obviar su decisión y que los senadores tomen los votos en el piso del Senado. Le damos la gracia a cada uno de ustedes. Es por las inspiraciones de ustedes que estamos aquí, por el trabajo y el sacrificio de ustedes durante la pandemia, que pusieron su propia vida en riesgo a favor de todos nosotros. El futuro dirá si en este momento América se levantó y hizo lo correcto, lo que debe de hacer, y es darle el sueño americano a todos ustedes y un camino hacia la ciudadanía. Que Dios lo bendiga a
todos. Thank you, Representative Espaillat. Thank you to all the members of Congress who are here today. I think, after... Thank you, compas. So I was just thanking Representative Espaillat for his support and all the members of Congress who are here today. Listen, after this, I'm going to be the cool mom in town because I'm surrounded with great allies here. But I could be the coolest mom in town if you all help me pass immigration reform so I can stay with my kids here permanently. Now, I would like to introduce Jasmine Sarda with ICER. Jasmine, welcome.
Gracias. ¿Me escuchan? ¿Me escuchan? ¿Dónde me pongo? ¿Aquí? Ok. La energía que se siente en este lugar es increíble. Les mando un abrazo a todos y les regreso esa energía positiva. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. The energy that I feel is amazing, it's incredible, it's taking over me. So thank you. Thank you to Congressman Chuy Garcia and everyone present here. Thank you for working hard to fulfill the promises and be able to accomplish citizenship for all. Thank you for your hard work. My name is Jasmine Cerda. I am an organizer with Brighton Park Neighborhood Council and a member of ICER. I serve and support the southwest side of Chicago. Brighton Park is located in the heart of Representative Chuy Garcia's district and has one of the biggest concentrations of immigrants of all statuses in the country. Many families in Brighton Park come from mixed statuses, just like mine. Today, I come before you as a mother, a daughter, a friend, but a very, very proud immigrant. With the holidays around the corner, all of you with your Santa hats have the holiday spirit, right? Well, I've been thinking about the first Christmas that I ever spent in the United States. And that was about 20 years ago. I remember going with my mom to Dunkin' Donuts to be able to call my grandparents back in Mexico using a payphone because we couldn't afford a landline. And I remember calling my grandparents, and saying Feliz Navidad over the phone. I couldn't hug them. I couldn't be with them. The only place that I ever knew as home was miles and miles away. While my mom and I were here alone with no family to spend Christmas with. I remember crying while my grandma said how much she missed me. But one thing that I'll never forget was that un día nos vamos a volver a ver. One day we will see each other again. My mom was a single mom who worked 2 jobs. We didn't have somewhere stable to live, so we jumped from family member's house to family member's house. And whenever she will buy me a meal, she will eat whatever I left on the plate because we couldn't afford another meal. She made the decision, just like many of us here, to come to the United States for a better life, for a better future. And thanks to that decision, I stand here before you, speaking a language that I learned at 7 years old. Remembering my story makes me think of all of your stories. And my heart goes out to you if you ever had to make that decision to come and leave what you knew as home to have a new home, to have a better home. I'm sorry. If you are able to go back home for Christmas to your family, you are privileged, you are gifted. Millions of immigrants, DACA recipients, and refugees aren't able to hug their loved ones this holiday season because they are separated by our broken immigration system. The prospect of parole does not give us the sense of relief. A temporary program that will end without guarantees that millions of people's data won't end up in the hands of the next Stephen Miller does not ease our fear. We can do this. Democrats can do this. Senate leadership can do this. My Senator, Dick Durbin, can lead in these efforts. Democrats must keep their promises and deliver a path to citizenship now. That is why many of us, including 6 leaders from Chicago, flew from Chicago to put their bodies on the line through civil disobedience a short while ago, just across the street from here. Enough is enough! No more broken promises. Thanks to the efforts of organization leaders just like all of you here, thanks to leaders, to community support, I was fortunate enough to become a citizen 2 years ago. But I would have not been able to do it without you. I wouldn't have. I became a citizen 2 years ago in the middle of the worst anti-immigrant administration we've ever seen. Citizenship is what we deserve. It's what we were promised. And it is what we expect to receive. No less than that. No less. And if we don't get it, we shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Thank you.
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, Hwang Chan and Jasmine, for your powerful and emotional testimonies. For all the immigrants out there that are suffering and feel like they do not belong in this country, we are all with you today. All of us. My name is Woo Jung Diana Park, and I am an immigrant justice
organizer at Mingwan Center for Community Action, located in Flushing, New York. Like Eliana, my lovely co-host, right here, I am a DACA recipient as well, who came to this country at the age of 1, seeking a stability with my loved ones. I am tired, so tired of living in 2-year increments. This is the year to win. We can do it. Harsuita. Si se puede. All the languages. We can do it. An unelected attorney has been making decisions regarding the immigration proposals presented to me. Time and time again, shutting down the hopes and aspirations of those who have contributed so much to the country's economy. We are not an exploitable market. I would now like to introduce and please give a warm welcome to a great movement ally, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez!
Thank you. Gracias a todos que están aquí. ¡Presente! ¿Quién está aquí presente? I said, who's here, right out here? Who is here today? Present. Estamos aquí presente porque ahora, este momento es nuestro momento, ¿ok? Nuestro momento. This is our moment. We're here because this is our moment, not any other moment. Not later, no rain checks, not in the past, not sometime in the future. Ahora. Ahora. Right now. This is our moment. Chuy laid down the path earlier today, but just a few minutes ago. I'm talking earlier today, like breakfast. Because we do have a possibility. Tenemos la posibilidad, tenemos la ventana de oportunidad ahora mismo. Y no dejen nadie a decir que no es posible, que no tenemos la poder, que no tenemos la oportunidad, porque la oportunidad es aquí ahora. No ha pasado. Don't let anyone tell you that the moment is gone, that the possibility has gone away, that the opportunity is not here, because that is not true. We have that opportunity right now. Right now, and that opportunity is standing right there on the Senate side. We're sitting and we are standing right in front of that opportunity. Estamos aquí sentando y parando enfrente de esa oportunidad, porque es ahí ahora en el Senado. We have the opportunity right now in the Senate. And what we need to say right now is the moment to say that we will no longer accept a reality, a society. We will no longer accept being a country that will take people's labor and accepts people's labor but doesn't accept their humanity and dignity. ¿Ok? Porque no queremos aceptar y no vamos a aceptar una sociedad que acepta nuestro trabajo pero no acepta nuestra humanidad y dignidad. We just lived through almost 2 years now of a pandemic that where our country relied on undocumented people to survive, okay? We're gonna put it down really simple. Because who else was sanitizing our buildings? Who else was caring for our elders? Who else was harvesting our food? Who else was stocking our shelves except immigrant labor in the United States of America? We will not be a country that says we will take that and yes, exploit that and not accept the basic humanity, dignity, and equality of all people in this country, particularly our immigrant families and communities. No vamos a aceptar eso. No vamos a aceptar eso. And we are not disposable. We are not disposable. That's what we're here to say. Que no somos perdón. It's a tongue twister for me, perdón. But we're not going to accept that.
because it is contrary to who we are, who we want to be. And if we are actually going to be who we say we are, we need to allow a path to citizenship for millions of people in this country. Ahora es el momento. Ahora es el momento. We're